conversation because it needs to be had. I think a lot of others, what you call, let me share this. Share this first. Let me share this real quick because I'm just gonna make this a quick 30 minutes. I gotta be out. Second, y'all. I'm just sharing this real quick. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Trust me, you want to 2 seconds. Y'all just gotta share this one more time. I'll be right with you. All right, y'all. I'm back. I'm a little tired right now, so y'all forgive me how I look. I know I look a little tired, but it's what it is. Anyway, look. So I wanted to have this conversation because I thought it was important, and it's something that's been happening in my area, and I think it's been happening in a couple other people's area too, because I've heard them mention it before as well. And that problem seems to be that the Latin American crowd that we've just gotten versus the Latin Caribbean crowd that was always here are two different people. Two totally different people. And I think that a lot of people are starting to realize that a little bit more, especially in my area, the state of Connecticut. I had an incident today. And it wasn't until I started speaking Spanish that that accident turned different. And I just want to make sure I document it because I see this happening with other people too. So I walked out my house, just minding my business or whatever. And probably 4 doors down, there's a whole building that was reconstructed and everything like that. And that building is specifically for, if you want to say for the better lack of terms, for Latin Americans, not Latin Caribbeans. Latin Caribbeans, to me, are Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cubano, tú sabes, no creo que sí, and people like that. From that Jamaica, Barbados area right there. When we're talking about Latin America, we're talking about Venezuela and Ecuadorian, places I'm not familiar with. These were, when I was growing up, people that had restaurants here and there, and there would be a delicacy, if anything. It wasn't really a thing. So you have 2 different communities that are totally different as far as the Latin Heritage Network go. Within the Latin American community, you only have Venezuela, Peru, maybe 2 other states. I want to say, Colombia. And that's it. That's about it that you have for like black population of Latinos in those different constituencies, respectfully. Now, on the other hand, when you talk about Puerto Rico, you talk about Dominican Republic, whether they agree with it, me, I know, blah, whatever, if they agree with it, don't agree with it, the problem remains is they're still representative of a past period in history, right? So what I've been noticing more and more and more and more as time progresses, it goes on. I've been back home here in Connecticut for about 5 years now. And what I'm starting to see is the Latin American population versus the Latin Caribbean population are 2 different people. I'm more contested with the Latin Caribbean population. I'm more familiar with that. Not to put anything against them. I don't even walk and talk like against that crowd. But seemingly enough, a lot of Latin Americans have a problem with brown-skinned people to the effect that they so much want to be contested with being white American that it slipped their mind that they are so forth, I don't know what you want to say, Latin American. They walk around with very different traits, like there's a man walking past me right now, staring me in my face like he's lived in Connecticut for at least the past 20 years. But if I question this man, I guarantee you this man will have no frivolence, no familiarity, or anything here in this state. I do. There's a lot of people in this state that feel the same way I do, except they won't speak up, especially here in Connecticut. Now, I'm just going to speak of Fairfield County, but I've heard this all throughout Connecticut. Our state is a sanctuary state. Many of y'all heard these sanctuary states, like with Governor Gerd Abbott down there in Texas, that sent all these people our way. It was a sanctuary city then. So let me tell you some of the things we encounter out here as either Haitian, Jamaican, I've heard other black Latinos say the same thing or whatever. There seems to be a measure of trying to somehow or another basically, how can I say, intimidate. And the intimidation tactics are very privy, they're very loud, they're very specific, you know what I mean? And the specificity of what I mean is, check me out. I'll have a situation where I'm walking down the street, right? I'm saying nothing's going on or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden I'll have a Latin American man walk past me, right? And specifically the men most of the time. And he's got a book bag. That usually gives it away that you drink all day. He'll have dirty clothes on. They usually have tatters or something in them. You can tell they haven't been washed for a long time. You smell liquor fumigating off their body. We have one particular park, actually 3 particular parks out here, where we have so many men, especially in the summer months versus the winter months, sleeping in those parks that it will blow your mind. I'm talking about groups of men. There's like 10 or 15 of them, and they'll spend all day, I guess, with each other, trying to formulate a plan to get a bottle of liquor, whatever, or they'll stand in front of the store and try to, but the premise off of them is, I'm important, I matter. And so that was the attitude of one of our neighbors who I've never spoken to a day in my life. Actually, I looked at him and gave him a head nod, but that's not speaking to you. You understand what I'm saying? So he had 3 gentlemen with him. And I guess he didn't know that I had my trusty bag with me. And you can figure that how you want to figure it out. But listen, I lived in the Bronx for 3.5 years. I lived in Brooklyn for like 1.5 years. I've seen shit you can't even contemplate. And with that aside, I look at my state, and I look at Connecticut here as being in peril. And I'm hearing people from Bridgeport say this. I'm hearing people from New Haven say this. I'm hearing people, what's up to the Elm? I'm hearing people from London say this. I'm hearing people from Greenwich say this. I mean, a lot of people say the new occupants that we got seem to be troublesome. And they seem to come with a temperament of, we are here to take over. Now, I told this man this in Spanish, and I'm going to tell y'all in English. I said to him, basically, la familia aquí se, entonces no claro que sea en la mente ahora. Now, to most motherfuckers, they would get the point. They'd be like, okay, my whole family's here in Connecticut. You're not going to win. You understand what I'm saying? But if you feel that way, go ahead. His friends kind of subjugated themselves from him, right? When, in other words, whatever happened with the other ones was, it was something like they were kind of inquisitive what was going on. They were kind of inquisitive what was happening. They were kind of inquisitive of the conversation, but never at one point did they intervene. What I try to tell the guys around in my area, and when I go out to Bridgeport as well, I try to tell them that, listen, you got to stay familiar with what's going on. There's something going on here where I think it's going to be a takeover or a attempted takeover. They'll never really let it happen. The problem is we got a mayor here, and I've watched it physically with my eyes, and I got to speak out for this. We got a mayor in both areas, Greenwich and Stamford, and this is Fairfield County. On top of that, a governor that's been in there way too fucking long. I remember when, and I think this was like 2007, maybe 2006. I remember when the ex-mayor of New Haven, Schlesinger, I think that's what his name was, and him and Ned Lamont had gotten to the debate, and at the time it was, I think even what's the name was still out of jail because our governor went to jail. We always have a lot of corrupt politicians here in Connecticut. What was his name? Governor Rowland. He went to jail for taking bribes, something like that. Tough on crime, and ended up going to jail his goddamn self. Funniest shit ever. But anyway, long story short. With that being said, right? We've always had corrupt politicians here, and it seems like now a lot of the monies, like if you walk around here in my area, it's beautiful. You know, it's always been beautiful, whatever. But I've watched with this mayor in the past 5 years since she's taken her tenancy or whatever you want to say, her tenure. I've seen how this fucking whole city has deployed. Now, there's construction going up everywhere. It's beautiful. But it's to attract a different crowd. And this crowd is not from Connecticut. This crowd is usually from areas that are usually condescending with, I don't know, anything you could think of and everything you could think of. These particular Latin Americans, not Latin Carribeans. And not to be mistaken. And when I say Latin Carribeans is most of us grew up with. These are Dominicans, these are Puerto Ricans, these are even people from Jamaica, Trinidad, places like that, Haiti, on compris. So you have people from Latin Caribbean countries, and then you have people from Latin American countries. Latin American countries are very different. A lot of them don't have black populations. A lot of them have never seen a black Latino. A lot of them have never even seen a Jamaican before. So you have a group of people that have a lot of nuances built in the back of their head about who you are and what you are and how you move and how you walk, by at the same time copying your style, copying your music. I saw that kid, what's his name, Lucky something, I forgot what his name is. He got gunplay. He's Mexican. I remember in the clip he had, and I put it up on my channel a long time ago, he was talking about if his daughter dated a black dude, it would be crazy, yet it's still rapper, you are me. Everything you do, the way you dress, the way you talk, hey yo, my nigga. That's the way we talk. So I tell Latin women all the time, I said, you might as well date a black dude. You trying to date one right now. Ain't that ironic? You dating one now. Or what he thinks is a black dude anyway. So, and now many of y'all know this is true. So when I see a Mexican dude dressed with, you know, Jordans on, hat tilted, jacket back, I'm like, that's hip hop style. That's black dude style. So tú no quieres la morenos, la negros, la negritos, entonces ven la tora. Then why the fuck are you dressing like them? You should be dressing like a Marachi. You should be dressing like a Ben Jibaro Pero La Campo. See what I'm saying? And I even go down that with the music. These guys are trying to intimidate people. They're even trying to intimidate some of the Latin Carribeans. And I'm trying not to be put in a situation where I got to do something to somebody. Because I don't answer with fists. I'm too old to be fighting. I ain't fought in a long time. long time. You get my... And I told him, and I mentioned that to him earlier, just so he would understand. I think it's going to... I saw a young man that's a racist. He had a Confederate flag on the back of his vest. And he was speaking at a town council just recently. And he was talking about the Indian community. And what they were witnessing out in Texas with mosques being built up, neighborhoods that were only dedicated to Muslim crowds, like that, I get it. And I said to myself, ooh, that sounds familiar. This man I'm talking about had bought this dilapidated house that had burned down on that block, okay? And he went there, had to pay full price. It wouldn't have been the same on a brand new house, trust me. So he went and bought one of the houses that was burned down. This seems to be a hustle. And I want some of y'all to follow it. So I'm giving y'all the game. He went and bought a dilapidated house, fixed the house up. I'm not mad at him. Moves his own people into the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at you. But this neighborhood that I'm talking about has always been Italian and Jewish, historically. So in the past 5 years, I've seen more of these guys come in here, more of these guys come in here, more of these guys come in here. But it's not guys that want to work. It's not guys that want to bust their ass. It's not guys that want to, even if you're just doing a simple what's the name page or something like that. As long as you get money, you get money. Nah, these dudes, they walk around all day drunk. They stick out like a sore thumb. I can look at you and tell there's nothing in the nuance that you have any similarity with the state of Connecticut. There's nothing that you have familiar with this state. Nothing. Yet, our governor, Governor Lamont here, and Richard Blumenthal, I hope you're listening. Our governor here, he decided, yeah, I'm homeless. Now everybody homeless. Homie, do you know what I got on? Really, do I need to go through that with you real quick? Like, hold 1 second. I'm talking about a very serious subject here. You understand? The shark's right there. You understand? These ain't no cheap joints either. You dig me? Like, talk to somebody else. Like, listen, you got to feel like it's all about the baby. What you think? This is a regular t-shirt? This ain't no regular t-shirt, my nigga. This is the cotton joint. This is the yay shit. What you talking about? Yeah, I know. Gangs, homes, no. But anyway, long story short, we've got homeless people. We've got, always got to get spiffy like that. I'm a tri-state boy. That's how we do. That's how we do. Anyway, we got these guys sleeping in the parks. In our train station, there's some guys that have been sleeping in there for 2 years. Because this area, the same area that Ned Lamont, the governor, is from, was never equipped for that. In this very spot I'm sitting at right now, used to be able to come in, sit down, have a quiet spot. You know what I mean? Now you got to look around 3 or 4 times to see if you see somebody shooting up heroin and drinking. I think that they are. This is my opinion. In New York, you had the Venezuelan gangs, and they were forming some shit up. And they were robbing, they set it on some police officers and everything else. And I looked at it, I said, isolated incident, niggas just getting it in. Then it happened again. Then I saw it happen again after that. And I was like, I ain't never seen the Dominicans or Puerto Ricans set it on a cop ever in my life. Niggas will get rowdy with the cops. Yo, fuck you, officer. But they never said it on the cops. So I looked at that as being something that was different or whatever. My whole entire life, I've only been around Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Italians, Greeks, and shit like that. I've never been around Ecuadorians. I've never been around El Salvadorians. I've never been around Venezuelans. And these people are Latin American and not Latin Caribbean. They're very different. But there is something with them. And I think once they enact it, because no way do you walk up to somebody and start staring at them and you don't know them. You don't know if this person has a gun on them. You are inactively thinking in your mind, ain't nothing gonna happen because my boys are here. And that's the other thing that I see too. They like to hang in gangs because they feel that there's safety in those gangs. There's safety in those gangs until 16 shots get ringing. You understand? Then there ain't no safety no more. And I want you to understand that because you niggas are dependent, and I'm saying this fruitfully, and I don't mean this to the whole entire culture, but it's got to be said. There are some niggas out here that don't play that shit. Esto no tan tipo, tú sabes, claro, tú sabes, pero la gente, los americanos, latino. Yo no quiero la valencia, yo no quiero la problema, tú sabes, no cuesta que sí, cámate. Calma. Because there's niggas out here that don't play that shit. Now, I'm gonna give you an example. I saw this white guy, and I don't know if he was speaking in Colorado or Texas, but he was speaking on Texas. And I know who he is. He came to New York one time with a rifle on his shoulder, and they slowed that down real quick. But let me tell you what happened. There's always truth, even when people you don't like. So I don't want to get it. See, that's where you make your mistake. Let me. What's your name, Sarah? I've seen you here before, Sarah. You cool? Listen to me. Once upon a time, 10 years ago, and the beckoning of Dr. Umar and all these different speakers y'all have and all that shit, Tariq Nasheed's, you could have done that. You could have done a cordial debate and done history lessons and everything like that. Right. But the war that you're up against is not involving that. The war you're up against involves violence, and a lot of it. And it's coming from two fronts. It's coming from the people that I'm mentioning right now who are ultimately going to do it on blacks and whites, economically or violence-wise. Then you got another one. There's another group. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll see guys on certain posts that have to do with racist shit, and it'll be black dudes, and they'll be on there, and motherfucker will say some shit like to the basis of the core of, you know what? I think all niggers should go. And then there's a way to battle the records, or they'll say something like, well, 13% of the population, 50% locked up. Okay, so who's the other 50%? See, that's how you kill an argument. These arguments that you guys have on these history lessons go too far. And you can't do this with Latin population, or you can't do this with really a lot of other populations. They see you as nothing, to be quite honest with you. And I know sometimes honesty hurts, but nobody cares about your history. We were kings and all that. They don't respect you. And that's the part that y'all miss. They don't respect you. And the first part, you wouldn't even be having a conversation if they respected you. Understand? So we clear? No more history lessons. And if you're talking about Latin Americans are different from Latin Caribbeans. They don't have black blood in them. Their blood is totally different. It's Mayan. It's Coptic. It's a many different Indian cultures. It's not Taino. It's not Arawak. It's not black from black slavery. The only places you'll have that at in Latin America versus Latin Caribbean is Peru's got a black population. It's small. Colombia. And where else? Colombia, Peru, Venezuela has a black population. The rest of Latin America has never seen niggas except for on TV, most of them. Not in a form that you see in America or Britain or France or, get me? That's not to ridicule you or nothing like that, so you understand. Yo soy la cubano, la mareno, ahí, creo que sí, no? Dos. That's why I have these conversations with y'all. Sooner or later, somebody's gonna fucking get it. I'm trying to help y'all. Fucking stupid. Listen, what you gotta understand is, these people don't know you, and you don't know them either. The interpretation they have of you is off TV and what people deliver to them in the world atmosphere or media. And it's very dangerous because they have these expectations. For some reason or another, niggas think that you're pussy. They think that you're scared of them. They think that you won't do nothing. And more importantly, they think you don't stick together. Mexico's not really Latin America. I mean, you get through Mexico when I'm talking about Latin America, I'm talking about Venezuela and shit like that. Y'all guys need to pull out a map, some of y'all, so y'all understand this. Not trying to be funny, but you need to pull out a map. It's Latin Caribbean or Latin America. Mexico's not really Latin America. It's still almost damn near part of the United States. I said El Salvador. El Salvador has a small... See, you don't understand. You want to have small arguments, and that's why you miss the point. You're still trying to offer history lessons. Listen again. History lessons are not the argument that you're having right now. History lessons are not the way that you're getting towards anything. Not Central America. That's the old world for it. I said Latin America. See what I mean? This is why they will dominate you. Because while you're having these certain little online confrontations or whatever, you're missing the point. The point is, a lot of these people are here to dominate you. Now, of course, that won't happen. You got veterans, you got armed strikes, whatever. But the mentality of some, I won't say all, but some, is to dominate you. When I listen to this white man that's an avid racist, he said something that made sense, and there's always a little bit of truth, and even in something that you don't like that somebody says, right? So, you want a date? Okay. There's always a truth in what some people say. And sometimes some people say, well, I don't like that person, I'm writing them off because they did this, that, and other, and the third, or whatever. I listened to what he said, and he said there was an Indian community that moved into Texas, and I don't specifically know if they're Middle Eastern or whatever. I'm just going to say that. He said they had moved into the neighborhood. They had erected their own neighborhood that nobody else really was primarily living in except for them. They had erected their own stores. They had erected something else too, hospital, and there was something else. This was a Muslim community. And at first I was like, oh, okay. But if it's segregating people that are already from the majority, what's up, if it's segregating people that are already from the immediate area, that's a problem. That should never happen. Say if I moved into a place or I built a home and I said, you know what, I don't rent to Latinos. Only black people, Jamaicans, and Haitians here. Yeah, that's rewinded back to the 1950s for some people, in an era that a lot of people don't want to live in. All because of a concentration of a certain group within a group that believe that they are more important than everybody else. The kid that just rode past me, he's Latino. So I'm saying this openly outside. You're my favorite. Oh my God, what's wrong with these people, man? Yo, it's just like mentally ill sometimes the comments you see. I didn't even see that shit. I'm like, what the fuck what did you say else you say? I just cashed up your mom. Like, childish shit. This is stuff you have to deal with when you're streaming. And this app is not set up for you to have serious conversations. This app is set up for you to have conversations that are the giggles. This app is set up for something totally different. Not really. I'll tell you why I say that. And this is what I mean. You guys want to have history lessons. I don't want to have history lessons. I don't like doing history lessons. I don't like doing it's worthless. You know what I mean? It's worthless. If I'm having a conversation, if you're going to have a conversation about intricacies, you should have that in preparation of war. You don't have intricacy conversations about thespian ideas. See, what you guys are talking about is thespian ideas. Let me give you an example. I know where y'all coming from. I remember those David Icke DVDs. I remember seeing, what's this guy's name? Alex Jones for the first time and all that. And these guys were really responsible for putting these ideas in people's heads, you know, these conspiracy theories and all that shit. If you're talking about the last two generations, it was those guys that influenced a lot of black Americans. And you couple that with a Tariq Nasheed, copy that with a Boyce Watkins, who come from many of the different backgrounds and teachers as they do. You copy that with a Tariq Nasheed. this is the conclusion you get. And they're great guys, all in their own format. There's some things I don't agree with, but they're great guys. But what they forgot to teach y'all was, see, Voice Watkins came in for the economic stuff, if I'm correct. And then Tariq Nasheed came in for the history part. And then, what's this other guy's name? Alex Jones came in for the conspiracy. Your mindset, and the mindset of most people that are streaming nowadays and having these conversations, don't understand that that's what they come from, or that you're an extension of that. So when you're having these conversations about history, I'm here to tell you once again, and you won't have to believe me, you can keep on having these conversations, you will lose in the end. You will lose. Believe me, you will lose. These history conversations of no matter in the moment that you're in right now. The moment that you're in right now will tell where you will be at, whether you're rich right now or poor right now, in 15 years as a population. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. And I know you don't understand, and many of y'all are never going to understand, because I got to understand in my head too that I come from a different form of thinking than a lot of you guys do. I was in the music industry for 17 years. So the things I may understand, you guys may not understand. And I had to take a friend of mine to explain that to me. And I'm like, damn, 4.5 years, where were you at then? You know what I'm saying? Iceman Factory. Got you. I've heard of Elmi. I don't want to do history lessons. Y'all are in a phase where you're so stirred on proving a point instead of listening to other people's points that a lot of y'all are losing. You don't understand it, but like I said, this racist white man said, in my neighborhood in Texas, the Indian or Middle Eastern community, however you want to mention it, are building homes. And they're building homes specifically for that group, no other group besides their Muslim group, and that's it. So I asked myself, and I said to myself, I said, okay, well, what does that mean if they do 2 to 3 more neighborhoods just like this, right? Well, now, depending on how many homes you got in there and how many you erect, say you erect 24 houses, right? You erect 24 homes, that's 24 families. 24 families can have at least 2 to 3 kids each. Now, those 2 to 3 homes that had 2 to 3 kids now have doubled their population about that and a half. So they're probably at 135 people. Now they go outside and they end up like Ilhan Umar, and they end up running for Congress, something like that, you know, marrying their brother or sister. I'm just playing. But you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that happens. Now, in your community, the one that you hold dear, now you've got these people spearheading and telling you what you can and what you can't do and having preference for theirs outside of yours. It's been there. This is what's happening in New York. This was happening in Bridgeport. This was happening in Boston and a lot of other areas up here in the Northeast right now. There's areas where niggas can't even get an apartment no more because it's so overran. And for some reason or another, I'm finding that because of their hatred of niggas, and I gotta say it just like that, because of their hatred of niggas, a lot of people in the white community are more succumb to this. You have empathy for people, more empathy for people, and I gotta say this for the white population. And I just had a white friend that died, well, Italian. So don't give me that shit, because I just ran my last live with that. A lot of the, what do you call it? What do you call these people? What's the opposite of conservative? The Democrats, but there's a word for it. I forgot what you call it. Liberals, that's the word I'm looking for. A lot of these liberals, they run under contentions, the same contentions that they ran under, I don't know, 45 years ago. Everybody's the same, socialist programs, it's both hurt and help the community. But the biggest problem right now is how those same utilizations and millions and billions of dollars, you know, often the Black Americans talk about reparations. Y'all could at least gave them a third with the money y'all was paying on those fucking hotels. That most of them at least run to 2028, 2029. You lease the space up into 2000. Listen to me, people. I can lease a core for New York City. New York City really did the program, and that's why I did the most research on it. In New York alone, right, there was 5 hotels in Manhattan. These hotels housed, and I went to 2 or 3 of them. One of them I went to was a Row Hotel, and which is the most famous one down by 42nd Street, if you know what I'm talking about. The rooms in there, just to give you an example, used to be probably like anywhere between $300 to maybe $500. They were upscale rooms. And I think at the top floor they had the penthouse rooms that were a little bit more than that. But long story short, this is a historic hotel or whatever. When the pandemic hit, they ran out of business. So what New York City did was they went and they did leases with these now closed down hotels, and with 2,000 rooms in it. The Row Hotel had something like 2,094 rooms in it. You know what I mean? I got in a fight with a black dude over there because he was like, "You can't be over here filming now. Master Jenkins don't like that now." You know, one of them motherfuckers. So I got what I needed or whatever, and I talked to some Venezuelan dudes that time. Everybody was walking there, fresh sneakers. Everybody was walking there, fresh gear. Niggas just like, you know what I mean? Out like, you know what I mean? Don Papi Juanpito out here, you know what I mean? Looking real fly. And I started thinking to myself, I said, yo, who is giving these niggas all this money? Niggas is walking over Red Lobster, I swear to God to you. I don't know what that means. You got to rewrite that, Sarah. I don't know what that means. Ownership is key, but see, back again, y'all talking about, like, I don't know how to explain, man. Y'all niggas talking about politics and shit. Like, politics got a little bit to do with it, but y'all niggas really gonna have to fight. And like, y'all niggas is better. Y'all done spent the past 15 years telling everybody why they shouldn't be violent when you should have been telling everybody why they should be more violent. Because if you haven't noticed, motherfuckers are more violent to you. In the past, what? 15 years. Yeah. Racism is a tool used by oligarchs in the pit. Here we go with the thespians again. Are you not, you know, that's a problem too. It's hard to have conversations with motherfuckers that refuse to listen to somebody else's view. They only believe in their view, and that's where the separation comes to the part. I don't need a history lesson, sir. I'm extremely smart. I just decimated two motherfuckers. One motherfucker came in here and told me the Miller colony was made up, the Miller colony in the United States was made up of motherfucking Maryland. I said, no, sir, it's not. What's the name? Maryland is part of the South. It is a tip of the South, but it's the South. I said, that's why they call it the DMV. The DC, Maryland, Virginia. You know what I mean? He argued with me, threw off the conversation I was having there for 15 minutes. Argued with me. I finally just went to Google real quick, proved the point, whatever, made him look stupid. His homegirl follows through, and she started saying some shit or whatever. I forgot what she was talking about. It's in the last live. Y'all can go check it out. I decimated her. I deuced both of them in 10 minutes. See, what people mistake me for is they think this accent and they think the way that I present it. I don't talk all articulate. That's how the help talk. Anybody talk like that is a help. You ain't no boss. I can always... Listen, I worked for Diddy for 17 years and with 3 other subsequent other record labels outside of that. The niggas that's the bosses, the ones that control things, the ones that call shot, they talk how they want to. They don't talk like the rest of the help. That's what differentiates me. You think the boss is gonna walk in and the boss is gonna look at you and he's gonna say, yeah, all right, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You interrupted things. You think the boss is gonna walk in and the boss is gonna be nice to everybody? The boss is gonna speak to everybody? The boss is gonna have to clock in? He's gonna have to do the same shit as you? Of course not. And more importantly, the boss talks how he want to talk. Now, if you need an example of that, pay attention to Jay-Z. You need an example of that, pay attention to anybody that's big in the game. Once upon a time, whether you don't like them, I don't give a shit. But the boss don't talk nice. The boss don't talk articulate. The help always talks articulate. And you can tell that the help talks articulate because the help will change up their accent when they talking to somebody that's in authority. It always has happened like that. I done ran guys before. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? So if you done made a certain amount of money in your life, you'll understand that ASAP. You dig? You'll understand it. They don't even need to be explained. So when somebody get in my chat room and they telling me, hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? The oligarchies and all this shit, that ain't what you up against, bro. That ain't what you up against. You talking about from a political perspective. I'm talking about niggas is already here, dog. Niggas is already here. What are you talking about? The oligarchy in the specific position of the Tallahassee and the Talmud and the blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get into religious reasons. I don't want to get into political reasons. Niggas is here. And what we gonna do about it? Anybody got an answer for that with your good thespian answers? Anybody got an answer for that? What we gonna do about that? Of course you don't. Because we live in a fraction of America right now where most men are cowards. Of course they're not. No, I didn't meet Big. I'm not that old. Big would have been 55 years old, 56 years old this year. I'm not 55 or 56. I came with the batch of dudes probably, I don't know, 10 years after that or something like that. Not even 10 years, probably like 10 years. No, Big died at what, 94, 95? So probably like 6 years after that, maybe 7 tops. So that's why I was at Woody, you heard? What else you want to know? I would say to you this, keep your eyes open. There's a lot of shit going on right now. And a lot of niggas is out here plotting, scheming, or how they could take America over. And I see it. I wish the best to you. You are a thespian. You are a thespian. If, you say you see me later, you're not my brother, first of all. You understand what I'm saying? So let's stop that shit, because you would understand what I was saying. My brother always reaches to understand me. My brother doesn't run away when the conversation doesn't agree with him. I can disagree with what I want to. I'm giving you what you need to know. If you can prove to me that there's something different, entonces saben claro que es el mareno. If you can prove to me that there's not a difference between Latin American and Latin Caribbean, I'll shut up. If you can prove to me that anything that I've said just now is not correct or whatever, I'll give you an example, the best example. Right now in the Ukraine and Russia, they have been fighting for how long? And neighbor, what do I look like, a child? I look like a child? I look like a child? What are you, on crack or something? You must be getting high, bro. I look like a child? That's another thing I don't like about, that's one thing I don't like about Black Americans. They have adapted this thing where everybody wants to run around like they're somebody's mom or daddy. You're not my mom or dad. Get that shit correct. I'm a grown-ass fucking man. Don't you ever speak to me like that, motherfucker. What's wrong with you? You brain twisted or something? What's wrong with you? You don't reprimand me for shit, nigga. What the fuck you talking about? My brother. My brother. They always, when they say that brother shit, they fall in behind it with an insult. Please believe that. So anyway, listen, back to the story. This is my point here. If you're running around and you're trying to have thespian conversations, and you're looking at Ukraine and you're looking at Russia, and they have sat down multiple times now trying to come to a clear about the war that they're having over there, and you don't understand that thespian conversations don't work. If you look back at the Greeks and the Spartans, they had an army, and they had thespians, they had Platus. They had all these different people that would speak and talk and philosophize about the moon, the stars, and the quasars and shit like that. But make no mistake about it, you can watch the movie 300. When it was time to go to war, it was time to go to war. And you motherfuckers have lost the gusto for that. You thespian ass niggas. What about the oligarchy? What about what about it, nigga? What about it? Where does that put you on Tuesday when they're kicking you out of your house? Where does that put you on a construction site where they won't hire you no fucking more? Where does that put you in the trucking industry when you won't have none left in 10 years? Because it'll all be what do you call it, overran. No, my friend, you're one-sided and you live in a one-moment section of life. I don't live in a one-moment section of life. Never have, never will. That's one thing I've learned about the music industry. All right, we got that album. All right. What we looking like for a 6-month plan for this artist? All right, we'll start roll out about right here. How about this artist right here? Oh, well, we'll do right there. You have to be trajectional, my friend. And if you don't have no trajectory, this is not a hate speech or nothing like that. This is a real speech. There are niggas out here that are from different groups across the world that are now in America and looking at America as for sale. And there's not too many people fall short of wanting to sell a piece of America. And that's what we really need to start pointing at. Who are these niggas selling these people these huge ass? A Chinese group, for example, owns the Waldorf Astoria. You ever seen the movie Coming to America? Presidents won't stay at the Waldorf Astoria no more because they're afraid that the Chinese government might be spying on them. You go look this up. I don't even need to look it up. I know. You know what I'm saying? But that's where we're at now. So it's not about being that. It's about having patronage and having patriotic pride for your town. in your state, in your city, in your country. You call yourself FBA, Foundational Black Americans. So what you gonna do? You gonna let them take it away from you? That's where you're headed. And I'm not talking about Puerto Ricans. I'm not talking about Dominicans. Estoy hablando, tú sabes, de la gente de la Cuba. La toda que sí. No representando, pero la gente de la Latin Caribbean. Este es por la gente del americano latino. O sea, diferente en la mente. Eso suavecito, tú sabes, no creo que sí. So, what I want you guys to understand is, I'm not talking about those groups. I'm talking about these new groups. Yeah, this gang stuff. It's old because it's not effective. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I talk about when I'm talking about wars and strategies and shit like that. Like, okay, for example, the Romans, they had a line, and that line used to always include the shields. You'll see this depicted in the movie 300. They would lift the shields or whatever, and he explained that to the guy. If you remember, there was a guy that, he was deformed or something like that or whatever the case. You know what I'm talking about? He said, try to lift your shield. The guy couldn't lift his shield or whatever the case may be. So you saw what happened. There was a breakage in the line. And so you can't have a breakage in the line if everybody's a thespian, everyone's spitting quotes from history or whatever, when especially when you're talking to people that you claim, I don't know, that you claim are the opposition for you personally. That makes sense. It doesn't make sense to them. It doesn't make sense to me. That makes sense to a lot of people. So that's the only thing I'm saying here. I'm not trying to detour you from being you or doing what you do or whatever the case may be. The only thing I'm trying to do is enlighten you. There are people out here that don't like you. I'm hearing people have city council meetings in Chicago talking about the same thing. I forgot what that black woman's name is. She's been very vocal on this. I'm hearing people in Louisiana say the same thing. So maybe you're not close up on it, maybe you're not up on it or something like that. I would implore you to do a little bit more investigation of it, you'll see. And like I said before, I think it's this like liberal aspect somewhere or another that's, I can at least say in my state, in my city or whatever, it's this liberal aspect of it that's just bringing these folks in. They don't give a shit about it. I'm going to say where I live at. You know what I mean? I'm going to say my area. I'm not going to say any other part of Connecticut because I can't say that right now. But I know at least in London, and I know in Hartford, they're having the same problem. Right here in my town, at the local train station, we have people that have been homeless sleeping in there for 2 years. Like literally 2 years. There was one guy that was in there so long, he smelt, and there's like a whole corner. Like this is how bad it got, guys. There's a whole corner because they don't have, this place is not equipped for, how can I say, I've been in Connecticut all my life, so I know what I'm talking about. This place has never been equipped for homeless crowds of abundance. It's never been equipped for, give me 1 second. It's never been equipped for any of that type of shit. So when we had this mayor come in, at least in this area, she changed a lot of that. And you could physically see with your own 2 eyes, you could see that like how things were malforming, how things were changing, how things were getting dirtier, how there was trash out everywhere or whatever. And this is all reckoned to one set of people. Now, a lot of people, what I hate that they do is and I've seen this myself, they'll point their eyes at the black crowd, and I'm like, no. You don't see Hector over there with a whole jug of liquor? You don't see Jose over there, you know? And so you have to, I don't know, you have to start getting, I'll say at least in my area, the police have gotten more privy of it. And I think that's a good thing. There shouldn't be 15 to 16 guys sleeping in our parks. There shouldn't be guys 9 o'clock in the morning, the first thing they're thinking about is getting drunk. You know what I mean? And these are grown men. I'm not a nigger. You see this one right here? He worried about me and I'm talking about something real. That's why I said you have to be careful. 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 That dude watched me right as I crossed the street. You see what I mean now? This is somebody that doesn't live here. So we have all these people that don't live here, don't have any connection to here. But that's pretty much what they do is they run around, they start trouble with everybody every day. Most of them are from neighboring New York. Some of them are from Bridgeport or whatever. But this, as you can see right there, I'm near my local train station. And I was just speaking that, and that's funny because that happened. Now, y'all didn't see it, and I wanted to turn the camera around, but what happened was He saw me crossing the street, so he started speeding up. That was a black dude. He saw me crossing the street, so he sped up. As soon as he got in front of me, that's when y'all heard the loud rap lyrics he was reciting. I guess trying to perpetuate to me that he was violent or whatever the case. I'm like, this is not somebody that's from here. You know what I'm saying? People from here don't act like that. So I don't know, man. I can go on about it all day long or whatever. Like I said, if y'all want to keep on being thespians, keep on being thespians. But I assure you, you being thespians is not going to move you forward. Chud the Butcher, he didn't respect thespians. You know, so I mean, people try to talk him down. He ended up shooting somebody. What part of y'all not going to get? You know what I mean? Where they come from and why. Most of them came from Greg Abbott. The majority that we've got, they came into New York or whatever. Like I said, once again, you had so many, I hate to say it for the better lack of words, so many liberals trying to embrace them. Yeah? Oh, let's help them out, especially our mayor. She did the most damage. And then you got a whole group of, and see, that's the other thing too. You got a lot of blacks in my area that are not really, how can I explain it? They're scared to speak out for themselves because they know that if they do, how can I say it? I want to say it the right way. They're scared to speak out for themselves because the pure simple fact they don't want to look, because the majority of the area is white, they don't want to look like they're infringing on their privilege or whatever the case may be. So they'll go out of their way to literally do whatever they can do to keep their job and keep their position around white folks. And this is well known in Connecticut. I mean, like, especially the more opulent areas you get to or whatever. And like, this is a funny thing. You could be a multi-millionaire black person and they still will treat you like you work with them. This is the majority of black Americans that come through our area. But when you get ones like that right there that you heard yelling and screaming or whatever, you notice when I told them be careful. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all ain't see that on camera. When I said be careful, you notice he shut the fuck up. Don't make a mistake, gangsters, that just because somebody's dressed a certain way or looks a certain way, they ain't into the same shit you into. It's getting bad. It's getting bad. To the point where I almost think like, I almost want to take off and maybe go somewhere else where it ain't so what's the name. Why fuck with another town? It's just the mentality. Like, where I live at is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, here. Where I live at is beautiful. No doubt about it. So, you get people that come in here and they work and stuff like that, and then they go back home to wherever crummy place they live at, which is anywhere on the trail line, right? And so in my county, I guess the most crummy places you could live probably be Bridgeport, Norwalk. 9 times out of 10, I mean, with the exception of Black Rock, Bridgeport and Norwalk. So you get the niggas there. I hate to say it like it is, but it's the niggas. And so they all think they tough. They all think they have a lot of shootings out there, a lot of violence, shit like that or whatever. So they come with that attitude. And this area that I'm in is nothing like that. You have a few people here and there, I'm gangster, whatever, but it's usually some, Mickey Mouse type shit. But it ain't never really nothing serious. You have a few shootings out here and there, whatever. Usually they involve Italians and whites, you know what I mean? Never really, rarely niggas, but you have it. And the problem persists because of the pure simple fact this new population of Latinos we got in here from Latin America are very, very, very trying. That's the best way I can put it. Not all, definitely not all. There's some great guys that are Latin American that I know I see all the time, I speak to, whatever, have full conversations with. But some of that might be privy on the fact too that yo soy la cubano, la mareno, tú sabes, yo landrito. I don't even know if y'all know this. Within Latin culture, a lot of like white Latinos, they don't like black Latinos at all. You would think so, but then not. What's happening is, like, I even tell y'all this on a national level. Like, if you go into like local McDonald's, you go into your I don't know, anything that's got a blue, white, and yellow emblem. You know what I'm saying? You go into any of those restaurants or whatever, the first thing you're gonna find is all across America is usually a Latino. I'm gonna say at the grocery stores too. It's usually a Latino staff. It's some way or another, whatever. Especially at the McDonald's. McDonald's seems to specialize in this. They're not even hiring black or white people. If you go to most McDonald's nowadays, you don't see nobody black or white in there. We were Vikings. I don't know, man. Whatever it is, I'm not racist. Like I said, in my earlier live, if you wasn't here earlier, I paid homage to one of my friends who's Italian American. I mean, real Italian. Not like, you know, he's fourth generation Italian. I'm talking about this is like Italian. Like the Italians I grew up with and known, the Greek folks I known or whatever, like Costa and fucking Sal. All those guys I grew up with, those guys are like, I don't know, they're like first generations, like especially my Greek friends more so than my Italian friends. They're more new. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not into that. I'm not into that type of speech. I don't get into those type of conversations. That's why when I see it, it bothers me, if that makes any sense. It really bothers me. I don't like people that expeditiously like just go after someone because of color, gender, sexuality, whatever. Like I've lived everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I've lived a lot of places. So, but majority of my life has been here in the state of CT. And so, I don't know, on the shoreline, we never dealt with that. Like, not really. Like, and the town was so small, you ain't have no choice, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, the restaurants you go to, they're going to be Greek or Italian. The store you go to go get a grinder, whatever, that's what it's going to be. So, yeah, man, I would undoubtedly say that I've never been into that type of mentality. I've never been into that type of, you know, mixture of ill feelings towards person, whatever color they are. That's not my flavor. I'm tired of that. We were Vikings. You crazy though. Kind of taking money while fucking another town though. Yeah, that's what it is. Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen and hit the like button. Also, could you do me a favor? I asked 20 people to donate $20. We're going to keep on with that or whatever because YouTube would pay me this month because of their scheduling practices. So I got to wait till next month to get my money. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm moving on the ones and twos or whatever, but I could emphatically use y'all help a little bit, whatever. Make sure y'all hit that cash app or whatever. I'm doing crazy numbers again. Like, it slowed down for sometimes for me, and that's what happened the month before last, and it was crazy because I didn't make that much money, and I have this threshold thing. Like, anybody that's monetized, y'all know what I'm talking about. I had a threshold, and my threshold was $200. I didn't even hold y'all. And so I made, what was it, $9.80 under the freaking threshold, and these motherfuckers held me off for a month. They was like, you didn't meet the threshold, so we gonna hold you off. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll wait till this month, whatever. Spend a couple dollars for my birthday or whatever, because nobody donated to my birthday either. Boom, here we are again. Well, because you didn't fulfill the da-da-da-da-da-da, and I changed it, these niggas say, well, you gotta wait till next month. So that's means super chats and all that. So don't send me no super chats, because I'm not gonna get them until the middle, not even the middle, the later part of next month. Like, they pay us between the 21st and the 26th. So it's like, anytime between then, you'll get it no later than the 22nd, though. That's what I see most people, 23rd maybe. I'm in Tennessee. It's a rural area. Be peaceful, not being around people. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't live in Tennessee. I seen everything. Isn't that what Chud the Builder was living at? So I can't do Tennessee. That seemed like that's back in like a time machine or some shit like that. Who the fuck want to live like that? I don't even think white people want to live like that. You know what I'm saying? Hey-how! You know what I mean? Like, they still down there chugging beers in the middle of the street and shit. I've seen, after I saw Chud the Builder in this situation, I reported on that a million times. I started doing some information and fact checking what's going on down in Tennessee, really. And like, they're still one of the main staplets for like a lot of stuff that, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago you thought would have disappeared from this country, and it didn't, evidently. But, you know, hey, more power to them. The Bible Belt states, I mean, go figure. What you expect? So now, I wouldn't rather be in Tennessee, homie. I'd rather be in Brazil. How about that? Is that cool? I'd rather be in Brazil. I'd rather be in Italy. I'd rather be in France. Anywhere but being in fucking Tennessee, out of all places. So that what I can guarantee you, huh? That's for sure. Anyway, what's going on, y'all? I just want to rap with y'all real quick or whatever. Like I said, make sure y'all hit that like button for me, whether now or later. And also make sure that y'all donate to the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Once again, that's $STRINGERBELL80. And I gotta tell y'all some funny shit. So right in front of me, right? Let me tell you how stepping fetching these niggas are. So right in front of me, I'm in front of a very important building. If I told you, I would crack up laughing. So this black dude or whatever, he's a security guard. He said that that's like one of the old timey niggas. Like there's still niggas that do that. And so the nigga, he keep walking back and forth, just staring at me. What you doing standing in front of this building now here? Master Jenkins don't like that shit, man. Never feel that, nigga, feel that. So he just finished talking to this white man. The white man nods to me and says hello. And he looked back at me with this evil ass look, and I just happened to catch him. He was just like Steven from Django or some shit. That shit was crazy. That shit's crazy, man. Anyway, let me get up off of here, man. I ain't reaching nobody. The people who are here, they all want to philosophize and talk about theories and relativity or whatever. I was talking about the moon base earlier. Nobody wanted to have the fucking conversation. It's amazing what people are attentive to. I will say this once before I get off of here. It's amazing to me how people are so attentive to like bullshit and gossip and who's sleeping with who in court this month, who pregnant, what the Kardashians doing. I heard that Kanye did this, always that, right? But they never in tune when you're talking about something else of being importance. And even more funny, I find with the app itself is that most of the app only dedicates itself to you talking about gossip. And that shit is crazy to me. That just, I don't know, it just blows my mind, man, every time I think about that. I'm going to talk about something later on when I get home, which I should be home in a little while. I'm on, because I just got to go across town and I come back to my town. Let me tell y'all something. There a lot of things I've said in theory about the internet and how this app is working nowadays. And guys, make sure y'all hit up that Cash App, man. We asked 20 people for $20. If not, make sure you donate something, man. $5, $10 is all worthwhile. I get paid by YouTube this month. They did me dirty. You know what I'm saying? And I got a couple dollars in there. I mean, that's why I'm mad. Here another one that want to do philosophies. I said the moon base, dog. I said the moon base. This is 2026. We just went to the moon just recently. Did you forget? Did you forget? We went to the back of the moon. We went to the back of the moon, used this gravity to swing around the Earth, swing around the moon, and use the gravitational pull to pull the ship back around. And at that point, I think it was 45 minutes. Now, that's what happened before. So all that stuff you talk about, the moon landing, that's not what I'm talking about. But this is what I'm talking about. Today, NASA made an announcement. And they said they're building a moon base based on the Artemis, I think that's how you pronounce it, Artemis, so how you pronounce it, their crew. And they specifically named it for the Artemis crew. So it led me believe, and I'm just saying this is theory for me, it led me to believe this. They had been planning that already. And maybe when they did their swing shot around the moon, I think that was for basically trajectory reasons. It's like the same thing, you go and you observe a house or you observe a whatever. You go there and you look at the place. Give me a second, I'm gonna sit down. You go there and look at the place, see if it's sound, things like that, where you could do samples, shit like that or whatever. Now they're planning 3 more missions in coherence. They're planning 3 more missions. Y'all excuse me, I had to catch my breath. They're planning 3 more missions to go there, and all 3 of these missions are unmanned, which signals to me again, hey, that means you're going out there and you're doing it for specifically one reason. That's to see what you can find, if there's any hazards. So all that moon lander stuff, I don't know. Get another jizz out. Oh my God, these people are. You know what? You know what the funny thing is about social media? You'll have this, like, watch, I'm gonna go to this guy's page, embarrass him. Make sure you stay right here, I'm about to embarrass you. I guarantee you. He's been here for 12 years and got 7 subscribers. Dog, I got tens of thousands of subscribers. You've been here for 12 years, 7 subscribers, and you got material up. And you ain't got nothing but 7. You know what that tells me? That signals to me, don't nobody give a fuck about what you have to say. In any metric. Is that fair? In 12 years, let's just say you ain't never quite set the fucking world on fire. You take care of yourself, all right? There's guys out here that are professional trolls. That motherfucker been trolling for 12 years. You know the mental health that goes into that? The lack of mental health? You only got 3 subs. I wasn't talking to you. Now it's a competition. This is America now. Wow, this is crazy. These people in here talking to me like they're 12-year-old kids. I got to worry about myself and the friends that I know that will be involved with something like that. Yeah, this right here is a waste of time. I'll wait it out. I'll just keep uploading. I'll upload and do my lives and shit like that. It's all right. I can wait it out. Don't worry about the 20 people and the $20 because they have something to say about that. But that's just funny to me. There's always these people that are online. They got 12 years in, 13 years in, 15 years in. And like that guy just showed you, he had 7 subs. You understand what I'm saying? 7 subs in 12 years. Do you know the lack of motherfucking concentration that goes into that shit? Nigga, you a loser. I don't care how much you get online. See, people live in this world where they try to pretend. I don't do pretend. Pretend is a waste of time because sooner or later somebody's going to say, show me the real thing. Say you're running around, you're pretending you got a Mercedes-Benz, but you really drive a Volkswagen. Sooner or later, people are going to ask you, where's the Mercedes? This is the ideal of people online nowadays. And that's childish. He came in here and said, get a job. You don't tell the white creators that. I'm here every day. You don't tell the multi-million-dollar podcasters, and there's people that are actually multi-millionaires that like have careers that are podcasters and have cash apps and nobody ever says anything to them. Instead, I'm going to just speak for the Black and Latin community. They'll donate $100, $200, $300 to these people. It blows my mind. And then these will be the same people that'll jump online and talk about economic growth in the community. It's hilarious. The mainstay and the mentality of the average black man in America is just worry about me. It's all about me, and I gotta prove to these niggas it's about me. Until you need somebody, motherfucker. Until you need somebody. I'm gonna need y'all down here Tuesday to march now. You know they done beat up so-and-so. The police got at him. So he said he was the man. So let him deal with that. You understand what I'm saying? So don't come into my chat room talking about this brother shit and you ain't proved that. I was with a Muslim woman for 8 years. In the mosque, you got to prove that you a brother. You can't just say that you a brother. You got to prove that you a brother. And the first place is, if I've got 30K plus subscribers and I say I just need 20 people to drop $20 in my cash app, it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be looked at as begging and all this other nuanced high school shit that y'all be carrying on. And y'all be 35, 40, 45 years old, man. That shit is crazy to me. So that's what scares me the most. I say this all the time. If I had a child by a black woman, I'm scared, not because she ain't no good or she couldn't handle it or she ain't worth it. No, because of pure simple fact, who would my kid turn to if he needed something? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm dead ass serious. Like, well, who will my kid turn to? If his dad can't grab $20 bills from 30,000 people, that's crazy to me. So that's why I said, don't come in here talking that brother stuff to me or whatever. I've been a brother to many of people. I've gotten black people hired. I've homaged black people, all kinds of shit, and it just never works out for me. You know, so I've gotten to the point now, guys. Guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen, hit the like button. I'm just rolling a cigarette real quick, but I've gotten to the point now where I'm just not with that shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not with that shit. I saw Stevie J the other day make a comment. I said, damn, you said the same thing I said. He said, yo, if you wasn't down at the courthouse when Puff was going to court, hold on one second. He said, if you wasn't down at the courthouse when Puff was going to court, don't show up when he get out. I had to agree with that. You know what I mean? That's my same sentiment. And I don't mean it like that on a personal level. I just mean in general. Like, a lot of people don't want to come around until you win it. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it be sometimes. A lot of niggas don't want to come around till you win it. Trust me, I know. There's a lot of people that stop fucking with me because they think I lead a lot of people to believe that I don't know nobody in the music industry anymore. I'm done with it or whatever. And y'all see the places I be, it's not condensing of that. You know what I'm saying? I used to film a little bit of everything, put it that way. Y'all miss out on a lot not donating to me. Y'all miss out on a lot of footage, a lot of shit. For the few people that follow me over in my new page, I only gave a few people that link. over the other spot where I be at, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all went to Luigi Maggiano's last hearing with me. And I didn't stream on here. I was like, fuck that. I'm not streaming on YouTube for what? What am I streaming on YouTube for? And I don't mean to hate on people on YouTube. I'm just saying in general. You get no support from the black community if you are talking the shit I'm talking. It just blows my mind, because at one time you would. That's what I'm talking about. At one time you would. They'd be like, oh, I see what you're talking about. And a lot of people came in and fucked it up. That Nature Boy dude, he fucked it up. Brother Polite, he fucked it up. I even have to say, what's this guy's name? Umar Johnson, he fucked it up. Umar's a good guy, he got a good heart, but he fucked it up. A lot of guys fucked up the donation process for men of color or whatever, to the point that the women, a lot of them are misandrous now, and they don't even. I watched the video. I'm gonna play it for y'all later, where this woman is literally in her videos talking about, yo, this is how you can avoid dating a black dude. I'm like, yo, this is where we're at. Like, you give birth to black dudes. What are you talking about? There's nobody that's, you know what I'm saying, y'all? There's nobody that's gonna look at them and say, oh no, it's something different. You know what I mean? It's just, it baffles me, the attitudes and the mentality that a lot of people have, especially in the black community nowadays. Your people's just like, what if I was dying or something like that? What if I needed to go to the grocery store or something like that? I'm like, yo, my brother, help me out. But I can go as a Jew and be like, yo, I don't have any shekel. You know what I mean? And I'm taken care of. What do you need, my brother? I go to the heirs, I'm good. So it just be blowing my mind when I be like, yo, you come to black people, what are you begging us for, nigga? I was like some racist white people, almost, if you listen to them very well. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. So, it's all good if y'all don't, or whatever, but I don't know, y'all. I just look at my community online, and I'll be like, yo, all right, how come other people are not, you know what I'm saying, contributing like everybody should be? And it just seems like, give me a second, y'all, pull this phone up. It just seems like to me, it's like it's a farce, it's a lie. You know what I mean? I don't like liars. Give me a second, guys. Like a cigarette. Give me 1 second, guys. Yo, this is the worst lighter ever. Fucking real. I'm like, what the fuck? I had like the worst lighter ever, dog. The world getting darker every day. It is. It's getting very dark, and the people are getting even darker. What time is it right now, y'all? 8:37. I might rock with y'all a little bit more. Yeah, the world is getting darker. I just wanted to bring up that one part. Like I said, that's really got me in a bind right now. I just don't like the attitudes and how everything has become so, I don't know, liberal in my state. And it's really bothering me. It really is. I don't like the approaches that people are doing online nowadays, where they're doing this like whole thespian approach and talking about things that are even condensed into the conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about what I see going on politically right now. And I see, like, in my state, I think they just allocated like something like $400 million towards programs for them and shit like that, without having to say it. And I'm like, where did we get $400 million to do that? But in our local train station, we got people that's sleeping in there for 2 years. And this is all bipartisan, and I have to consider the fact our mayor. And I'm like I said, I'm not exaggerating. I've watched this happen with my own 2 eyes for the past 4 years, right here in Connecticut. So if you guys don't know the state I'm talking about, I know y'all from everywhere on here. But yeah, the world is getting dark, and there's some people that are going to help it along a little bit more than others. You dig? Who hitting up the cash app, man? That's what I need to know, man. I be on here talking this shit, man. For real. I be talking stuff, man. How do y'all feel about not only the moon base, but let me ask y'all this question, because they're building a moon base, right? It almost reminded me of that joke that Cedric the Entertainer had. Y'all remember that joke that Cedric the Entertainer had on the King's Comedy? It was funny as heck. He said, yo, I think, and I want to say it right. He said, yo, Cedric the Entertainer said, yo, I think they trying to leave us down here on Earth or whatever. I said, nah, man, ain't no way. Then here we are. We're building the moon base. Just a couple of days after release 500 additional photos of UFOs. Y'all find that kind of weird? So I'm just like, I don't know. That's one thing's got me kind of bothered or whatever. All this different. If y'all don't get what I'm saying in trajectory sense, we got all these wars going on. You got like 4 simultaneous wars going on. We just found out there's a new strain of Ebola that just broke out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, something else. You know what I mean? There's a new strain of Ebola, if y'all didn't know that. Yeah, for sure. New strain of Ebola. I said the same thing. I said, where the fuck that come from? Not the Ebola, the Ebola. Going to the moon to build a base in our lifetime. Let me ask you a question to everybody in the chat room, right? Have you ever thought about, like, especially about 35, 40 years old, have you ever thought to yourself all the stuff, nah, forget it, all the shit we've witnessed in the past 40 years? I've seen the trade towers come down. I went through a pandemic that lasted damn near 2 years. I've seen the Challenger blow up and explode in school. I've seen a lot of shit in the past 40 years here. Not even just this country, just in general. I've seen like 6 wars, which nobody was really considering wars, you know what I'm saying? We've seen a lot of shit in a few little years that we've been here on Earth, and that's just crazy to me. And so now one of the things we're seeing now is a reconstruction of America, and this time they're doing it with new hired help. And so when the black women, they tell y'all, well, you need to go get your education and the blah, 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 they might have a point. The point is, ladies, you got to get the education and work with your own men, or you're going to be out here by yourself. And that's a dangerous motherfucking spot for you to be in. No, at that point, you just subservient. That's a dangerous spot for you to be in. And if you don't believe me, how many of you black ladies on here right now got an aunt or uncle, fuck that, an aunt or uncle that wouldn't go fully out for y'all? How many white people in here got an aunt or uncle that wouldn't go fully all out for y'all? Sure. Without your men, you ain't got nothing. Your men are those dudes, you know, if you black and you live in the hood or something like that, yo, go get John and them. You know that, right? Go get John and them. My brother gonna come up here and air this whole shit out. That give me 2 seconds. All right. So that was your up against. So I don't know, man. I would tell people that it's more likely to start paying attention to some of the shit that I'm talking about right now, because it is condensing of a lot of things that you're going to find sooner or later are of importance. Not only are of importance, but they're just paramount in everything moving forward as far as culture, you know, if that's American culture or whatever culture. You know, I liken it to like it's in nature. Whenever you have a species that comes in and inhabits another species or whatever, they tend to come in, dominate, conquer, take over. It's always been as such. Always been as such. Don't you think any different? When a species comes in, the first thing they do is try to find out how to take over the area. You can look at this in the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom. You can look at this in many of different kingdoms, including the aqua kingdom. You know, aquatic animals and shit like that, they all do the same thing. So what I suggest to y'all is start getting a little bit more on edge and then teetered with things that are going on here. And one of the things y'all can do, y'all can first start is stop this, I don't know, this argument shit online where you guys are doing like thespians. You know what I mean? The old thespian way of looking at things is not going to work anymore. You can't have a formal discussion with somebody that's a racist, like Chud the Builder. I used to see people try to have formal discussions with him. Yo, bro, why are you calling this man bro? If a nigga would have lifted off on you, you would have been ready to bug out. So yeah, things are getting darker every day. The first thing we got to do, we got to get rid of this. And I'm going to say this like this. I think when a lot of white Americans, they come in with this term, and I don't know if you've heard it, and I've heard it several times repeated. I think when a lot of white Americans come in with this term, I'm having black fatigue. No. You're not having black fatigue. You're having America fatigue. American fatigue consists of when nobody's making any money, or the money they're making, they're devoting it all strictly to bills. See, ain't nothing bigger in the world than your savings account. All your savings account is a telltale tale of what the hell you've been doing for the past couple of years. Leave that. You don't understand what y'all up against. The next 2 years is going to prove that. And I'm just hoping that y'all catch on before it's too late. I see what's going to happen. If it was up to me and I was telling everybody, I'd tell everybody, if you can afford it, move out the country. I even see a collapse of the dollar. I see them digitalizing all currency by 2028 under a bill. I guarantee you. I saw this today where AOC and Kamala Harris simultaneously basically announced that they were running for president. Presidential ambition. I said, oh shit. Well, both of them are running. If I had to pick between the two, I'd definitely pick Kamala over AOC. I gotta say that much. AOC is wacky. She's from up this area. But I saw what both of them said they was bidding to run for president. I said AOC and Kamala Harris. Now, you know what I think would happen? And I think this is what they hope would happen. If both of them run separately, they run with different running mates, and one of them coats out, they'll just partner up. Kind of be like a Biden and you know what I'm talking about. So a Biden and Obama type of deal. So they'll partner up and then they'll run together and then whoop-de-woo, we're the first women vice president and vice president. Whoop-de-fuck-de-doo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying whoop-de-doo like women ain't shit. I'm talking about whoop-de-doo like that's how they're running. They act like they did some big favor to women. In the old time, these will be the same women that take away money from women. Please believe that. They'll take money away from women's programs. They'll take women. Kamala Harris already did it. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the chat room if you have any opinion on it. What'd you think about Kamala Harris running? Oh, I got some tools down here. They did some updates on YouTube. I ain't even see this yet. Y'all don't talk to nobody in here? Oh, that's what's up. So let me try something out, right? Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, I just found something out. They got a whole bunch of new updates over here on YouTube. I just did the updates recently. So I'm just checking out some of the shit they got going on. I can stream with games now. That's dope. I like finding out shit. I'm like, I don't know. I like figuring out shit. You know what I mean? That's why I'm just testing some of this stuff as I'm talking to y'all, whatever. But I want y'all real opinion on that. What do y'all think about Kamala Harris? Like, I really want y'all opinion on that. What do y'all think about Kamala Harris and both AOC announcing that they might put their bid in for president again? You know, it's coming about that time. It's about 2 years. So I just want to know what y'all think about it. What do y'all think about Kamala Harris? And what do y'all think about these two running for president? Other thing I would talk about is what would be their policies on the current immigration problem that we're having. I saw something Trump did, but they rewind that, you know? So those are questions I would have. That'd be the only thing. I don't play the sides of either one. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat either. I tend to don't care for liberals too much because I find that they're very hypocritical. You know what I mean? But at the same time, conservatives are as well. The state that I live in, Connecticut, has always been historically liberal. It's always been liberal. You can see in the reflection of the governors we have elected to, you know what I'm saying, everything else. Shout out to Governor Rowland, who went to jail. Shout out to, what's this other guy's name? We had another mayor that, funny enough, if y'all know Myron from Fresh and Fit, Myron from Fresh and Fit is from here in Connecticut. He's the one that you know as Myron Gaines. But he's from a town called New Britain. And New Britain, I remember they used to have a mayor there called Giordano. And Giordano ended up doing something that was really suspicious.
Really?
What the fuck you running up on like that, my nigga? What the fuck going on with you? What do you want? ¿Qué vas a contigo? ¿Qué tú quieres? Yo tengo un YouTube aquí, tú sabes. Claro. Fuck out of here, nigga. Just like magic. I can't make this shit up. I can't make this shit up. I can't make this shit up. Now you guys see what I'm talking about. Now he's going into the train station to sleep, and he's drunk, or whatever. Now he thought he didn't recognize my face because I'm sitting kind of over in the dark, and then as soon as he seen my face, oh, you're sorry. Yo, you niggas is crazy, son. Come on, man. So that's what I'm talking about right there. That's a perfect moment right there. I'm gonna clip that up later. That's a perfect moment right there. So y'all see I ain't making this shit up. Ain't it funny how I be talking about this shit and it just happened? Guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. We asked for $20 for 20 people. We're gonna see what we're gonna do. Other than that, I'm gonna be back with y'all in a little bit. I'm gonna head on home here. You know what I'm saying? Get out these streets before I do something to somebody.